And welcome back to Tokyo Tuesdays, the segment in which I head to the Tokyo Disney theme parks to sample and review every last eatery. For our 34th episode, we're making our first official stop at Port Discovery, trying out Breezeway Bites. Located in Tokyo Disney Sea, Breezeway Bites is a bit of a hike. Start by heading into the Mediterranean harbor. Veer to your left and head around the main water feature. Head up the ramp in the direction of the American waterfront. If Mount Prometheus decides to erupt, take a moment to stop and look. It is pretty awesome. Continuing on, turn to your right and cross the bridge. Continue going straight, past Fortress Explorations on your right, until you see High Tide Treats on your left. Turn right, taking the fork in the path that heads up the hill. Entering into the back of Port Discovery, you'll pass by the Horizon Bay restaurant on your left, before Breezeway Bites shows up on your right, directly across from the Disney Sea Electric Railway Station. Breezeway Bites is a cart service location decked out in silver and copper, featuring meat pies, fruit pies, ice bars, and a few bottled drinks. This location is designed in a very steampunk-like fashion, with narrow rods, large rivets, and that ever so slight retro-modern look to it. Alright, so today we are at Breezeway Bites, I believe. As you might be able to tell, it's getting on towards evening here, so I'm hoping that it's not too dark. Anyways, I got the meat pie at Breezeway Bites. It is warm and flaky, and I'm hoping also delicious, so why don't we try and find out? Delicious, but I'm more looking forward to the meat. Still nothing but crust, but I got meat juices that time. That bodes well. Two things. One, finally hit meat. It is quite tasty. It's a little sweet, mostly salty and good and delicious. And also I sort of noticed that if you turn this way, it's sort of like one of the Mickey churros, but squished. Not sure if that's intentional or not, but I'm going to assume it is, and also delicious. So I'm hungry, so I'm not savoring this as much as I should. There's not as much meat in it as I might like, but there is also enough. I'm hard pressed to name the flavor. I feel like maybe it's pepper. It's not exactly a shepherd's pie, but it's close to it. I'm really not sure what the ingredients are in this. I'm gonna have to research a little bit. It is quite tasty though. Generally speaking, if you hear meat pie and think, oh, that sounds nice, chances are this will do it for you. A little bit of cheese, I think? Just a little. I'm now very thirsty. I need to go find something to drink. And I will see you at the next place, where hopefully there will be light. See you. From the port, time to review. Service. Service is a 3 out of 5. I didn't have a spectacular experience here, but I also didn't have a negative experience. They were professional and friendly, and quite possibly more importantly, fast. 3 out of 5. Atmosphere. Atmosphere is a 2 out of 5. Like most of Port Discovery, this location was pushing really hard for the steampunk atmosphere. And while they have all the right shapes happening, they're also quite obviously made out of one sheet of molded plastic. And that's the thing about steampunk. Most of it is doodads and gewgaws made out of things that actually exist. We have screws, we have rivets, we have sheets of metal. And while I understand why maybe you don't want to use sheets of metal for cooking in the sun reasons, there's also no reason for it all to be made out of one sheet of plastic. It's noticeably disappointing. Additionally, I have to say that the employee uniform here was kind of disappointing. To me, it looked like pajamas, which is kind of awesome in its own right, but also not theme appropriate at all. So, 2 out of 5. Price point. Price is a 2 or a 3. It sort of depends on how you're feeling going into this location. If you're not terribly hungry and just need a quick pick-me-up, this location and the prices are more than acceptable. However, if you're actually hungry and looking for something more filling, 1 meat pie probably isn't going to cut it, at which point you'll have to order another meat pie, at which point the prices are a little less awesome. So, I think that this food is supposed to be a snack food and not a meal food, and so from that point of view, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5, but do be aware that it's sort of on the border. The food itself. The food is a 3 out of 5. I really enjoyed my meat pie. Could it have been more full? Yes, definitely. But it was really tasty, and I'd happily go back for another. 3 out of 5. Overall rating. Overall, this gives Breezeway Bites an average rating of 2.5 out of 5, which I'm going to round up to a 3. This is a very solid eatery in my book, and it feels more average than a 2.5. The lineup. With a 3 out of 5, this ties Breezeway Bites with a number of other eateries on the master list. I'm going to slot it in at 18th place, just above the Parkside Wagon. Breezeway Bites has a more extensive menu than the Parkside Wagon. Additionally, I think their food is slightly more filling. So, it should come as no surprise then on the cart service lineup when Breezeway Bites knocks the Parkside Wagon out of its first place slot and takes its place at the top of the list. Well done! So, that's it for this week. Come back next week if you want to find out where I'll be then. Hint! We'll be sailing away from Port Discovery and landing back in the land of the free. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to leave those down below. We'd love to hear from you. Give this video a big ol' thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like what we do. We'd surely appreciate it. If social media is more your flavor, you can find links to that in the description box, and I will see you next week for another Tokyo Tuesday.